Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Liquid Hotshot or Luke Bell. We are here with episode 2 of the Formula 1 2019 career mode here at McLaren. Yes, and we know how this works. So welcome to the team, Zach Brown. Welcome to the team. Between yourself and Lando, I'm sure we can have a fantastic season. My door's always open if you need anything. Zach Brown, CEO. Right, okay, so tutorials, etc, etc, etc. So, this is my contract summary. They want me to qualify 14th at least, and finish in the race at least 14th. I'm currently the second driver here at McLaren. And my team goal is going to be hard, and I do get some race bonus, upgrade speed, simultaneous development in the same department, and pit stop efficiency. Goals, so they want me to complete 8 practice programs in 2 race weekends. That's easy stuff for 600 resource points. And looking at qualifying, we're going to have a wet qualifying, so we're just going to jump straight effectively into the wet conditions here at Melbourne. Let's have a look. Contract negotiations, I know how these work. But currently, my contract is actually worth more than my actual value.
This test is all about tyre management. Try to control the slip through each corner and take extra care putting the power down at the apex. Program complete and a job well done. We got some excellent data with that run, so come on back to the garage and I can talk you through the numbers.
Alright then, so we're about to jump into qualifying. Zach Brown, indications from testing suggest the car has decent pace, but I expect us to be somewhere around the middle of the field. Over the course of the season, I want us to be the best of the rest, and even starting to challenge the front runners. Okay, the upcoming season. I have high expectations of you this season, so give it everything you've got. In particular, it's important to qualify ahead of Lando Norris, or Chuck, as you guys might know him, because you know Chuck Norris. Anyway, beating your teammate is always the first measure of your performance, and then Jeff goes on to tell us what the weather's going to be like, and currently about, you know, an overall thing about the Melbourne circuit. In practice, I've kind of realised that I'm faster than the difficulty I'm currently set at. I'm going to go back and change that hopefully after this qualifying session, and if not, it's going to have to be after the first race. So yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and jump into qualifying. I've done most of the practice programs. I've changed it to manual, and I like the feel of the car. It feels good around Melbourne, but obviously the first race of the season doesn't really show much about the car itself.
We're just about ready to kick off today's qualifying here in Melbourne. It's the Australian Grand Prix. always look like the kind of track that asks an awful lot of the rear tyres, such as the frequency of low-speed exits.
No matter how good a driver is at managing their throttle application to limit rear slip, they can't always overcome a car that's inherently bad at looking after its rear tyres. Here we have a lot of low-speed corner exits, which means a whole load of energy, heat and tyre wear.
Okay, so yeah, as I was saying, change it to manual, and we can't really get a good indication of how the car feels just yet because we've had practice and then we're having a wet qualifying session, so we can't really measure it much. But yes, okay, I understand that.
Mechanics, please stand clear. We're ready to go.
Damn straight we are. Gonna drive out. Why are we in? Oh, I think the start of the Q1. It's not raining yet. I think that's why I'm on slicks. Oh, it's raining, so if I can get a lap in, then hopefully we should be Gucci. So yeah, let's see if we can get this, if we can get a flying lap in, and get ourselves a time here at Q1 before we have to jump on either intermediates. Hopefully, that's the plan. Alright, here we go into the flying lap then. Already mugged myself off in the first corner, but let's see if we can save this lap, so to speak. Hit the apex there, make sure I don't spin. Up to fourth, coast round here. 2 shifts before that would be normally flat out in dry. I can already feel the grip slipping away from my fingertips as we hit the apex here onto the back bending left-hander in full throttle. Seventh into 8th on the back straight with DRS open. Downshift into 4th. Come around in section 3. I overcooked it there just because I had 2 high revs going into the corner. Hamilton with the 136.6. I don't think mine will be as close to that. Oh, yeah, it beat him by 2 seconds. Yep. So I'm gonna have to go and change this difficulty.
There's only 1 lap of fuel remaining.
Because I shouldn't be beating a Mercedes in a McLaren at this current stage of the career mode. So I'll go ahead and change that. Yeah, I'll jump out of the session now and see what I can do. So I've had a look and can't change it at the minute. I would assume it's just a because the game only got released today. Hopefully there's a day one patch on Friday, because technically I'm on early access, get to play the game early because I pre-ordered the Legends Edition. Yeah.
Heavy rain arriving in under 10 minutes.
Yeah, we're just going to skip across Q1, and no one's going to be able to beat that time. So that's fun, I guess. You know, we're getting straight into Q2, but it wasn't really a challenge. I would have liked it to have been a challenge, because everyone's on inters now, so whoever set a time on softs, which was relatively quick, then we've all got through effectively. So like, I've already out-qualified Norris, but that's to do with the difficulty setting, and I also want to say the fact that I got a lap in on the dry, and he didn't. Or he did, and it was really shocking.
New drivers, new cars, it's a new Formula One season. But it's the same Albert Park that we've come to know and love for more than 2 decades now that plays host to round 1 of a 21-race championship that takes us from here in Australia across the globe and the eventual season finale at the Yas Island circuit in Abu Dhabi. The Melbourne circuit is certainly one that needs to be taken seriously. Its combination of slippery surfaces and difficult corners make it a tricky track when it comes to overtakes. Drivers find it hard to pass and will need to take full advantage of those DRS zones if they want to have any hope of breaking through. We have plenty of changes to the sport this year, with tweaks to the regulations, a fresh-looking spread of tyre compounds, and of course some changes to the roster of car manufacturers. It's goodbye to Sauber and hello once again to the classic name of Alfa Romeo in Formula One. It's also goodbye to Force India. They've been rebranded as Racing Point. Joining me to take you through all the action of the 2019 Formula One season is Anthony Davidson. And it's great to have you with us.
Thanks, Crofty. Always happy to be here, and I'm looking forward to getting underway. Last year was Mercedes' 5th Constructors' title in a row, although for the first half of the season it was absolutely neck and neck with the Ferraris. Hopefully this year we can see the chasing pack take that final step, as I'd love to see a championship contest all the way up to the final race in Abu Dhabi. Another story to keep an eye on is the performance of Red Bull, who have switched to the Honda power unit this year. What that will mean for both their performance and reliability remains to be seen.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Vettel, Lewis Hamilton, and Gasly, Hulkenberg, Butler, Magnussen, and Roman Grosjean. Ricciardo, Albon, Lucas Faber, and Kubica, Bell, Perez, Lando Norris, and Kimi Raikkonen. Russell and Antonio Giovinazzi starts from the back of the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Alright, so welcome to the race. This is post commentary. So we sat at the starting grid waiting for the 5 red lights, and they're out and away we go. Release the clutch, got a bit of a slow exit here. Already been taken over by the racing point of the Sergio Perez, but it looks very busy down into turn 1, so we're going to take it a bit slowly. We've got Kimi Raikkonen on my right hand side. He had a little look around the outside to see what he cannot do. But yeah, 15 laps here at Melbourne in the McLaren manual and such things. But anyway, as we come through the first sector, take a little bit of wing damage due to Robert Kubica's car being a bit too slow and me braking a little bit too late. And I realised that as I got used to the car, and obviously the difficulties with me not being able to change the difficulty setting, a lot of the cars brake early. So up until I'm able to change it, I'm gonna have to brake early myself or make a move which isn't too risky, and I'm not gonna take any front wing damage. Sorry. But yeah, here we go into the back section. We did qualify 15th. We didn't get out of Q2. I had 2 shocking laps. I showed you the first one, which was the fastest one, and the second one was absolutely appalling, and I didn't have enough time in the session after simulating a bit of the time to go for a third. I didn't time it right. But yeah, coming around the last corner onto the back straight, we'd already made up 1 position in the opening lap, which is decent, and I felt really confident in this car, very, very confident. Not much I could do against the top tier guys, but I mean, at the minute the McLaren's a midfield team, so it's not a problem whatsoever. Just trying to get a feel for the car, how it reacts to certain corners like that. Doesn't like going flat out, even though we've got a decent front wing. But yeah, as you can see, I'm just busily trying to be consistent here in the opening couple laps here at Australia. And we jump back here later into the same lap, looking at a move on Lucas Weber, and get a little tap there. He shut the door, so I'm like, okay, we'll just get back into the driver's seat, we'll just wait for a move to come, and hopefully we'll pass him. Carrying a lot of speed out of that last corner, but yeah, we don't have much engine power, so that's fun. So yeah, fun there. But as you can see, they're going side by side there. Both of the Toro Rossos of Alex Albon and Lucas Weber going side by side, meaning they're losing a lot of time. So as you can see, I've catched up to them very quickly, and now Weber's gone in front. And I thought, well, if Weber can get it done on his teammate, I can get it done on Albon. So that's what I was thinking in the cockpit whilst driving this race. But yeah, once again, coming through sector 2 and into sector 3. Look at a move, he knows I'm there, pressurised him just a tad, so he made a mistake in locking up his front right, so that's decent. Come through the sweeping left and right-handers, and absolutely get an astonishing exit against Albon. Got a bit of DRS there. Momentarily we go 3 wide, but I managed to get a double overtake done, and I felt so amazed by that, because obviously opening few laps in a McLaren I'm not really used to yet, except for in the practice sessions, and I'd managed to get a double overtake on none other than the whole Toro Rosso team. So I come back to you at lap 5, and we'd really just settled in after another couple laps here at Melbourne, with Romain Grosjean and Danny Rick in front of me, and both of the Toro Rosso guys behind me, but I'd managed to create a gap to them, so that was nice. But obviously the Haas and the Renault have better power units than me, and I do believe better chassis as well, so the only thing I really had on any of them was the fact that I was better in the corners. But you know, getting used to the car, I didn't know how confident I could be in the corners, so I wasn't like absolutely being too aggressive into any corner really, but you know, I could plan it at relatively high speeds and such. But when it came to the straights and stuff, and I had DRS, like I couldn't catch them even with DRS and when I was in the slipstream, so that was a problem. And as I go wide there, I almost bin it and lost a lot of time there, and I was really annoyed. But that's my own fault for trying to take too much speed through that follow through, to try and catch those guys. So now it is actually a case of, right, okay, sit back, relax, right, get back into the groove of the circuit and see what we cannot do to get some more time out of this car. And you got to remember, I do have a small bit of wing damage through the opening couple laps, and as Jeff says there, we're going on to the mediums, so we're only doing 25% races, but when I come in I'm going to be getting mediums and a new fresh wing. I'll come back to you then. So I'll come back to you on the brink of lap 8. Here we go. So here's my in lap. I thought I'd show you it. I thought it was a really nice lap. You know, pushing the car to the limits. You know, have room behind me. No one pressurizing behind me. Lost a lot of time to the guys in front due to me going off circuit. So I could push as hard as I wanted, and I felt smooth through there in the flat out right hander, and it just, the car just felt quite amazing. Obviously it's not as powerful as I want it to be at this current moment in time, but at the end of the day, like, we can have a good race in midfield if we have a decent strategy. Now you'll see in the next episode, in the next episode there's a bit of a weird episode in the next one, and you'll see why. But yeah, this current race going quite well. It got a little bit of gravel there. That lap wouldn't have been too bad if I hadn't hit gravel, but here we go into the pits. I put the pit indicator on, like, just, you know, relatively early. I'm not quite confident yet because I know I can get penalties and stuff, so I wasn't too confident to, you know, go full whack. But here we go, going from the softs onto the mediums, getting a new front wing, and we should be good for the rest of the race. So I'll see you when I make some moves.
Okay, you are currently 2 places above our objective, 2 places ahead of our objective. Good job.
So I come back to you at lap 12 of 15, and I'm an idiot in editing. I've just cut out probably the biggest factor of this race as to the result I got. But we were coming through the last corner, we were catching up to Grosjean and Ricciardo, and through the last turn, Grosjean's engine blew out, and I shunted right into the back of him. I was so livid. Because I tried to avoid him and then he just swerved onto the racing line. I was like, well, that makes sense, doesn't it? And went straight into the back of him. But yeah, like an idiot, I thought, alright, okay, there's only 3 laps left to go, I can defend. But looking at that understeer and that understeer, is kind of impossible to defend a position to people like Perez when you're understeering through a corner, and you effectively you don't have any control over your car. So that was nice, but like the idiot I was, I do believe I decided to stay out this lap. Yeah, I stayed out. I was like, you know what, I can do this. You know what I mean? Only 3 laps left, and then lost even more positions through this lap. So his race actually went quite bad. You know, surprising. You know, it was looking good. You know, maybe a points playing position if I had got past Ricciardo, but as you can see there, Perez getting past me, and Lucas Weber having another look and actually destroyed all of my front wing. And I actually checked because it didn't give me a notification, and it destroyed my whole front wing. So I physically had no pace at this lap, and I was so annoyed. And saying annoyed, Devon Butler retired from the race. Devon Butler retired out of the race as Kimi Räikkönen passes me, and I got a message saying Antonio Giovinazzi is having issues with his car, and I look behind me and I realise Norris is behind me, and I don't want to hold up Norris, kind of like in the F2 race. I've lost my wing, you know, I've got an issue. I don't want to hold up Norris, so effectively I let Norris through. I let Norris through, brake early, let him through, let him go after Räikkönen, because he's going to have a better race than me now, because I've got to pit and get a new front wing. But here we go, Alexander Albon comes through, passes me there, and I jump into the pits here. Like Emulga should have just done it the first lap, and I might have been able to catch him back up again and salvage something, but like an idiot I didn't. But anyway, going to the pits for effectively a new set of tyres and a new front wing.
Puts us 3 places off our predictions, 3 places down from our objective finishing position. Go now.
And they put me on softs, and as you can see, Jeff were telling me that's put me 3 places off my objective. My objective is to qualify 14th and to finish 14th in the race. But as you can see, I just went last with Robert Kubica passing me, and at this moment in time I was very livid. But you know, in Formula 1 you've just got to like suck it up and just keep going, because there's always an opportunity. Like if there were a massive pile up further up the field, you know, I could get into the points, but you've always got to have a little bit of hope. And as you can see, my pace compared to Kubica's is absolutely ridiculous. In the lap of coming out, I've already passed him. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for effectively this race, guys. We didn't get much else, and there wasn't much else to see after overtaking Kubica, so yeah. So like I said, that race could have gone a lot better. You know, we could have picked up a couple points for McLaren. Seems as though I was further up the field than Norris, but with what happened with Romain Grosjean, put me off, and having to pit for the wing and that, I didn't get much out of this race. But as we come across the line for P17 in the Melbourne Grand Prix, so yeah, we didn't get anything out of that race, and my agent and my engineer were both disappointed in that. So yeah.
Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again.
So yeah, Charles Leclerc, the young Monaco guy, coming through with his first victory in F1 at the initial race of the 2019 season. So big man, 1-2 for Ferrari, and third place for Red Bull of Max Verstappen. So that was good. And the Mercedes were nowhere to be seen this race. So yeah. Basically, getting my R&D points from the race weekend. I wasn't happy with my performance, in fairness, towards the back end of the race. I was quite consistent throughout, and as you can see, my reputation with my team and other teams have gone down because of that. So yeah. My engineer wasn't too proud, and I didn't read those interview transcripts. But if you wanna, go and pause the video, and Emma's just letting me know about historical events. And we're looking through here, and as I've mentioned throughout the whole video, my aero department's decent, but what needs development is my engine. Like, it is appalling in a straight line. Like, I think on the, because I'm pre-recorded, I think on the Chinese track, I can get to 192, but we're upgrades for engine power and the chassis, and that'll be it for today, guys. Hope you've enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.